Hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. We are going to attempt to tackle two of my cabinets in my kitchen. And is procrastination making you wait? So today we're going to take care of all of this. I've got old medications and stuff that I really need to throw out, get rid of, and a lot of other stuff in my cabinets that needs to be organized so that we can find things. This is hashtag Declutter Challenge 24. I hope that you will join in. It's hosted by me. It's an open collaboration. It will be open until December the 30th of this year, and I may do another one next year. I don't know yet. We'll find out. So let's get started. I don't do really well with step stools and step ladders, but today I'm going to have to use it. I am a fall risk, so I'm very, very careful and cautious when I'm using a step stool in my kitchen. But this is the worst of it, so I'm going to start on this side. These baskets I don't have to do anything to because that is our medication that we use every week. We set it up in our P.O.Boxes and it's all there. I am, however, going to have to get in here and wipe down the cabinets a little bit because of little flying insects that we get in the fall usually end up inside my cabinets. I have some ivermectin on hand for our animals in case we need it. I've got old medications that I no longer use. We're going to find a way to dispose of those properly. I will tell you more about that. I've got old medication in here that we don't use anymore, so we're going to be getting rid of a lot of this today. And then I have our dog's heartworm medication up here and other things. So this is mainly a medication cabinet, although I do store plastic bowls that I use when I'm canning up here, usually the gallon size. And I have my essential oils and stuff in here as well. So we're going to get all this stuff out of this side. I'm going to work on it. We're going to come back once it's completed. And then I'm going to move on to the other cabinet. Okay, I've got my first cabinet shelf wiped down and everything is out of there. This is medication that we use on a weekly basis. And so I try to get everything stored in here where it will sit into my shelf rather smoothly. I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of old medication, and there are places that you can go online. I will link that in the description box below where you can dispose of all your old medications safely. We don't want to put them down our drains because that goes into your municipal water systems or into your ground. If you're like we are on a septic system, you don't want to put all that medication into your soil. You know what I'm saying? So we want to do this safely. I do have some medications that I no longer use. I don't use the alfalfa. I found that it did not work for me. It has a reaction with some of my autoimmune, so I'm not using that anymore. So that one's going to be gone. This is my emergency medication box for colds and flus, and most of this stuff we've had since I had pneumonia. So you always want to check your dates. And this is August of 23, so this stuff has got to go. I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff in here. This one does not have a date on it, so it's probably still good. That's going. That's going. Medication over time, especially these box medications, will lose their medicinal values over time, so you want to get rid of that stuff. I do have eye drops in here, a I want to hang on to this because that's for our animals. And then I have some allergy samples in here if we have an allergy reaction. I'm going to move that over here. And we're just going to set this back in the corner for now. I'm going to go through this. I've got some strips. That usually goes on the other side, so these are going to go on the other side. I have a lot of respirators and these inhalers from when I had P.O.Box pneumonia. These are also going to be going. I need to get a bag and just bag all this up. So I went and grabbed just a little old plain bag, and I'm going to go ahead and start throwing medication in here that we're no longer using. I'll have that sitting on my counter so I can work through this rather quickly. These inhalers are absolutely going. 2020 and 2021, I know they're no good any longer. You can tell how long it's been since I've used this, and I've emptied out one of my little baskets that I use to sort things in up here. Dog medication. This stuff is going. It's been in there since 2019, y'all. 2019 on that. I've got a lot of aspirin in here and pain relievers. 2018, y'all. It's going to. Although aspirin probably would be good for mice, even if it's out of date. I know that there is a blood thinner, Coumadin, that is actually a rat poison, and all it is it thins the blood. And we may hang on to these and put it in a place where we can actually feed it to the mice and not our animals, like underneath our house. We might add that to some peanut butter or something that will draw them. So anything that is way out of date is going in the trash. I also have old prescriptions that are out of date, so those are going as well. We don't need to hang on to those. That one's still good. And I can get rid of my box that I had it in. We really don't use ibuprofen and stuff anymore because we're on a prescription medication for pain. So we don't really use that stuff anymore. And I used to keep it around just for family that came to visit, but we don't get a lot of visitors anymore. I also have cough syrup in here. We no longer use over-the-counter cough syrups. And this one's out of date as well, so it's going in the trash. Oh, let's see what this is. All out of date medications. That one is 2017. That tells you I've been at this for a while now. 2017 on that one. And I've got some antibiotic cream up here. That never goes bad, so we'll keep that in here. Let's see. I do take that occasionally. Go ahead and set this in a basket. And all of this is going by the wayside, including the clary spray. So all of that is gone. I'm getting quite a big bag of medications, y'all, to take somewhere and get rid of it. So this is the dog stuff. I'm going to put that in a basket by itself, along with my ivermectin for our animals. And I no longer use that stuff. I'm actually allergic to it. Don't know why I held on to that. This is a new prescription, so that's going to stay up here. And this one will stay up here as well. Put that in the basket. Okay. These are my essential oils, and they're going to stay in the basket as well. Let's see if I can slide this in here. And I always keep some Q-tips handy for that as well. We're just about done here, y'all. I've got a couple of essential oils that won't fit in my basket. So I'm just going to set them in front of it. And this basket has some lotions and other things in here. Tweezers, kind of like a first aid kit. It's got some super glue. So anything that is medical that I can hang on to that might be small, I'm going to set it in this basket, and we're just going to have to stack it to make sure that it's going to fit in there. And a little brush. So we're going to stack this right there. And we only have a couple more items here. That came out of this cabinet. Now that's trash. Lip balm. Actually has an expiration date on it. It's going in the trash. This is for hardwood cleaner, and it's too small for me to keep with my other stuff. I'm going to set it back up here. This is actually ink pad ink. I don't know where it's at. And let's see if this has a date. This does not have a date. I'm going to set that right there. These go on the other side. There's a little medicine cup. So I think we did pretty good. We got a lot of stuff out of this cabinet, and it looks a whole lot neater on that shelf. I'm going to get up on the top really quick, see what's up there, and if there's anything else medical that is out of date or expired, we're going to get rid of it. All right, I've got the top shelf cleaned out. I have some aloe vera juice, and I'm going to put this down here low so I can find it. And I've also found a blood pressure cuff that really should be in my purse in case I need to check my blood pressure while we're out. But I'm going to set it in the basket with all the medical stuff. I have boxes and boxes of this albuterol. And it's not that far out of date. It's 2023. This stays good for a little while, and I'm going to set it back up on that top shelf because occasionally I do have asthma attacks and stuff. I also found ink to my old printer that has never been opened. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put that in a donate, and I'm going to donate that. And I found a brand new bottle of cough syrup. And it is also 2023. Although we don't use it, occasionally we get our grandkids up here and they want to use this over-the-counter stuff. So we'll just hang on to that. This is going to go back on the top shelf. I don't need a barf bag. It's going in the trash. And I'm getting rid of plastics. It's going in the trash. And this is what I trust chickens and stuff with. It's 100% cotton crochet thread. It's cheaper to buy it this way, so I keep that on hand as well. I'm just going to throw that back in the basket. We're going to get this on the top shelf, and we've got half the cabinet done already. This cabinet really isn't that bad, but occasionally it's good to go through your cabinets because you may forget what you have in them. What in the heck? Oh, that's off a can opener. So I'm just going to pull everything out, wipe the shelves down, get it back in here. And there's my can opener for my countertop, and that's the piece that came off of it. So I'm going to get that back on there. if I can figure this thing out. I may have to do that off camera because it's kind of difficult, or get my husband to put it back on there. So anyway, it pays to go in and wipe out your cabinets every so often, because if you live in the country like we do, or even in the city, you're going to get flies and stuff that's going to fly in your cabinet when you got the doors open. This cabinet is mostly nuts that we like to munch on occasionally. And that's some oatmeal in there. And then I've got my canning lids that I use on a regular basis up here as well. So we're going to get all this stuff. And I've got my mouse traps, the glue strip mouse traps, because we do have mice. We're in the country. There's some of my apple cider vinegar that I made in 2021. And I keep that in here because occasionally I need that. This goes back in the box. And all kinds of nuts. And this flour actually needs to go into my pantry. So I'm going to set that aside and get that into the pantry. And these are stale. Very, very stale. They're gone. They never get put into a glass jar. So we're going to get this cleaned up, and then we'll move up to the top shelf. Alrighty, I've got it organized now. I've got all my nuts organized. I've got some dark chocolate chips that were up on the top shelf. My candy, my apple cider vinegar is actually behind my can opener, and I figured out how to get that piece back on there, and our glue traps. So I've got a couple of things off the bottom shelf that will go to the top. We're going to get up there and get that taken care of, and you'll see what I keep up in there. And then we'll be done with this declutter challenge. How about that? Okay, I removed everything from the top shelf. This was my mom and dad's carafe for coffee, and I've held on to it all these years. We do occasionally pull it out. It is made by Thermos, and I don't even know what year this was made in, but it was made in West Germany, and it's still a very good craft. Even though the outside's plastic, the inside is glass, and it does keep your coffee or your hot beverages hot for long periods of time. So that's going back on my shelf. I've got a box of expired insulin needles. So this is going to be going into that bag. I'm going to actually bag this up in a separate bag and put that in with that. Although I could put them in my sharps container. And this one is some more of that albuterol, and it's expired, so that's going to go into that container as well. So those two are expired. This box is my fermenting stones that I use when I ferment or pickle, and it's missing one stone out of here. They're glass stones. You can purchase them on Amazon. I'll try to remember to put a link to that in the description box. Very good product to have. I've got lots and lots of large canning lids that I need to get back up here. And I'm going to have to turn that one that way. And I want to use up the ones that I have, the smaller amounts of those. Those are some of the superb lids. Get those up here. And then I have some boxes of ball. Let me get these situated. So I've got several boxes of these ball wide mouth lids. I've actually got more of these in my canning room as well. So I'm going to set them there. And here's the ones that I will never use to can with, the 4-jar. I've had many, many canning failures with these. The company says they're USA, but they're made in China on the box. We'll never, ever buy them again because of false advertisement. But I can use these when I'm dry canning, so I'm going to continue to use them while I am dry canning. I've got a couple of small boxes of the regular size lids. I'm just going to stack them right here on the front. I use those more than I use anything. This goes back in here. This was a shot glass that belonged to my dad. And I just keep it because I think it's neat. It's from Italy. And you never know. You might need to do a tincture or something and need a shot of that tincture. So I always have that on hand. This is just a cool thing to have. This was in my mom and dad's stuff. It's a Griffin's jelly jar with the label still attached. I hang on to this. I think it's just neat to have. I'm going to go ahead and put that on this shelf. Then I've got some ketone strips, and then I've got my pH strips. They're going back up here. This is something that belongs to my husband, I'm pretty sure. And I'm going to leave it sit out for him to figure out what he's going to do with it. And then I found some jars up here. This one's plastic. I'm actually tossing it. But canning jars and bottles to put your ketchups and stuff in. These are going to go back into the room where we keep all our glass products. So we have cleaned out both cabinets. What do y'all think? A lot more space up there. I can put more stuff in if I need to. I know where everything is in the cabinet now. And I'm going to turn you just a bit so you can see this one is also cleaned out. So my top shelf up here will get the plastic bowls when I'm done with them. And I know where everything is in here now, and it'll be so much easier for us to find everything. My challenge to you is declutter now, because we need to get our house in order. We know what the political climate is in our nation. We know that either way the election goes, we may break out in civil war, and you need to be as prepared as possible. I will not go into politics on this video with you, but just be aware of your surroundings. We know the cost of food. We know the cost of our gas. We know the cost of electricity. We know the cost of insurance and housing, and so many other things in our nation has gone. Over the last 7.5 years, we know what has happened with two different parties in charge. You make your decisions when you go to the election box. I've already made mine. I didn't need to watch the debate. I didn't watch the debate. I already had made my decisions. I don't need mainstream media or someone telling me how I should vote, and I'm not going to tell you how you should vote. That's just a little of my personal opinion on that. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you know, I am getting my house in order. So get your house in order, folks, because we don't know what's coming down the pike. We do know in a way, and the feeling that the Lord has laid on my heart this year for this Declutter challenge and the other challenges was really to get my house in order. I didn't know why then, but I do now. I hope that you found this pleasant and maybe motivational to get in there and do a little decluttering yourself. We all have that clutter somewhere in our house. Jump on board if you want to put out a video to all our channel friends. This is a great opportunity for you to grow your channel, gain some new friends, maybe some watch time. You know, that's why we do these things. We want to encourage other people and to help your channels to grow too. It's an open collaboration, ends December the 30th of 2024. I may bring it back next year. It depends on how far I get in my house. But it has been a year-long process. We're in the middle of September, and I am making slow progress. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and may you be fully blessed.